if you're having a tough time cracking particular companies or cracking particular potential companies, I want to reframe this as something that's really exciting, something that's really like you should get really excited by the fact that this company is really hard to crack, because the hardest clients to crack, almost always, once you crack them, become your best clients. And if I look back over my last 20 years of recruiting, some of the best clients I've had have been atrocious at the beginning to get into, have been super difficult, have been completely arm's length, completely blocking, completely non-receptive, completely to recruitment. Right? But I'm a persistent little bugger. But all I had to do was wait for what I call the fumble. Okay, I'm a big advocate for sports analogies. Okay, and I'll get to what that fumble is. But really, why is a tough client to crack get me excited? Why does that make me go, that could turn into a really good client? Because they have massively high barriers to entry. They do not want to work with agencies. And I get great happiness knowing that my competition is having the same trouble getting in to these companies. And I don't think many people are as as persistent as I can be. Because whenever I get a good candidate and I think it's going to be suitable for that client, I will call them every single time. Even though they say, Brett, we don't use agency. That's fine. This person's very good. One day you're going to need me. And I am very persistent. So a hard client to crack has massive high barriers for entry, right? But they're high for everyone else. And once I do eventually crack that client, and once I eventually get and see a little window where I can get in, or what I call a fumble, I'm in. And all my competition is still getting the arms, the high barrier, the rejection. But now I'm in. And you almost get in and you're protected. The opposite to that is a client who's like, I'll happily use any agency. So now it's always a race for CVs, always a race for talent. Everyone can send CVs through. It's a freaking mess. That's a mess. But once you're in and they're still keeping everyone else at bay, you're almost protected. It's like a very strange feeling. And we've all had it before. I know you've had it before where you've cracked one of those big clients where they've got a big TA team, whatever, but for whatever reason, a couple of key people there know you, want you, engage with you, and all of a sudden you almost feel just like, oh, this is different. That's why some of the hardest clients to crack can be your best. Now, what am I talking about when I say fumble? I'm a huge sports advocate, love a sports analogy, but if you take any sporting team, okay, particularly a ball sport like a football or a soccer or whatever, the greatest teams are so confident in their ability, they are happy to just be patient. They're happy to grind out a game and just wait for the opposition to fumble. They are very happy to say, we're going to get 3/4 of the way through this game and we're going to go neck and neck. And if you're a fan of the underdog team thinking, we're going to beat the top team, the top team has this absolute calmness and confidence about them because they know that we will continue executing for the full 80, 90-minute match. We just need to wait for the opposition to fumble. And almost always, the weaker team fumbles and the stronger team capitalizes. And that's what we do in recruitment. Now, what does a fumble look like with cracking a tough client, right? So a fumble might be a TA person leaves. Okay, they no longer have an internal function. They might have someone coming in, but there is always a gap between those two things. That's a fumble to get into. Okay, your TA's gone. What are you doing about this? We've got someone coming in a month. What are you going to do for the next month? If good people come in. Send me CVs. Fumble number one. Another fumble might be, fumble implies negative, but it's just an analogy. A surge in roles. They might have a massive influx of roles. They might land a ton of projects and the TA team goes, oh my God, like my workload's tripled for the next month. I can't handle all this. I do need to call a recruiter. Who do they call? The one that calls them every time they've got a CV, right? So that's another fumble when there's a surge in their roles. You don't have much control over this stuff, but you've got to wait for your opportunity. The third fumble we see is when TA goes, I've got all these roles. I've had a crack at this for 3 months now. I cannot find it, but the business really needs this one filled. I'm going to go to a specialist agency. So that's what I call a fumble, where all of a sudden you've got an opportunity to capitalize on their inability to recruit for themselves. And when you get given that opportunity, you need to be the A team. You need to be the number one team in that competition. You need to absolutely pounce, execute, and prove to them that I'm really fucking good. Like, you put all your eggs in that basket because you want to try and get the next job. You want to be their sort of like loose end link where they're like, look, we still have a TA team, but you're our guy when we need to go to agency. That's what you want, right? And that's why some of these tough clients become really, really great clients because they are still batting away every single man and their dog when it comes to agencies, but you've got that sort of backdoor line into the business, and you are able to transact with them, over the course of time. Will they become an A-grade client? Probably not, because I feel like they're going to have a team in place, and they're probably only going to give you not the scraps, but the either really hard stuff or really time-sensitive stuff that's going to challenge you. But normally, these are brands. If a brand has a big TA team, they've probably got a big brand. They've probably got a good brand. And we all know that sometimes you need to have a couple of those really nice, juicy brands in your portfolio, on your desk, and it helps with all of the rest of your market. It gives you credibility in the market. When you go to market with these brands, oh shit, Brett's recruiting for that company. Like, he's all over it. Like, that's a great brand. They're trusting Brett with that role. That's how I view them. So I did a podcast the other day on A-grade clients. I don't think this scenario is ever going to result in an A-grade client. It might for a period, but not long term. But I think they have a massive place in your sort of mix of clients when you go to market and building, rapport with candidates and just general sort of like, I guess the halo effect that has on you as a recruiter and your quality. So that's it. Hardest clients to crack can almost always turn into some of the best clients. And when you start coming up against really difficult clients, keep pushing you away, kind of get excited, like, all right, they're doing that to everyone else. How else can I get in? Get involved. Have fun. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. This is a game. You can gamify this thing. All right? Like, share, subscribe. It helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day. May all your deals come true.